Uh, Good evening, everyone. So for tonight, no, since this is in fact your first time, no, to meet Dr. Jordan Calweng, I would like to introduce him. So he will be taking over the class in intro to immunology as part of our topics, no, in clinical parasitology. So guys, si Doc Jordan is actually an alumnus of our university. uh, he is a medical technologist by profession. Now he is a medical doctor, and he finished also no he finished his medicine degree sa CSU, Cagayan State University, Carig. And he finished his master's in public health at the University of the Philippines College of Public Health. So he is in fact, or he was in fact, uh, a doctor to the barrio, covering the municipality of Cataran, Cagayan, before. Okay, now he is a big time poultry owner. A big time poultry owner and a don in Peña Blanca. Okay.
I
So
disagree.
so Doc, the ano ba, paano ba inano to? The screen is yours.
Yeah. Thank you, Sir Jack.
Bye, Doc. Okay, Doc.
Okay. First of all, I would like to greet everyone and wish everyone a pleasant evening. So, Sir Jack and I often discuss regarding the future of the students and the current situation of students as well in context of the prevailing situation in the university. So it is also my pleasure. It is a honor and pleasure for me to be able to meet you for tonight, even for just one night or for one lecture session. It's also my advocacy to, you know, extend or share my unassumingly knowledge regarding the subject or the field of medical laboratory science. Okay. Now, I was tasked by Sir Jack to deliver to you some introductory lecture regarding immunology. I wonder uh, if any one of you had already some advanced reading or knowledge regarding immunology way back high school. Meron ba kayo? Do you have your subject in high school that cover the immune system? Meron, I just wonder kung meron kayong ano. Meron ba kayo John Louis? Were you able to discuss some of the topics or concepts of the immune system during your high school?
Maybe just a bit po, sir. Not as in-depth as yung mapag-aaral po this college po.
Okay. So, I just wonder also kung ano yung subject na hinahandle ni Sir Jack sa inyo. Is it parasitology in this class?
Yes po. Yes po.
Okay, parasitology. Okay. And as he mentioned, one of the topics under his subject is immunology regarding infection. Okay. Now, in this session, we'll be discussing about the basics only, no, of immunology in context of parasitic infection. Okay. So for today or for tonight, the objectives of study are as follows. Let me just share to you my slide. Please tell me if the slides are working, if they move or some delays in the movement or transition is happening. Okay. Okay. Hello, John. Can you see my slides now?
Your screen po, sir, is now visible but not the slides po.
Okay. How about now? Can you see my slides moving?
Not yet.
No po, Doc. It is still in the screen broadcast po.
Okay. Share screen. How about now?
The
Hindi pa
slides
rin po.
Wala pa rin. Well, this is the first time I've encountered this problem. I usually use Zoom during our online session, especially last sem. I'm just, okay. Hopefully it will work this time. How about this one, this time? Meron pa? Meron na?
Wala pa po,
Meron na ba?
sir.
Oh,
Wala pa po. The same thing appears po on our end, Doc.
this one. Bakit? Kaya, lang ah. What is being prompted in my screen is saying live broadcast to Zoom has stopped due to attempted to start an invalid broadcast session. I don't know what is that. John, how about this time?
The same thing appears po,
Can you
Doc.
appear? Oh. Okay. Paano kaya? Can I send you, John, the copy of the slides, and then you be the one to share na lang to the class?
Okay po, Doc.
I think that's one of the immediate remedy na lang, no?
Sige po, Doc. Sige.
Saan ko i-send sa'yo? Send ka sa Messenger if possible.
Opo,
Sa email
Doc.
mo na.
Sige. Ito po yung...
Kasi baka masyadong malaki. Yun mo? Okay.
I'm sorry po, mali po yun.
Ah,
Wait lang.
hello, John. I've already sent you the email attached with this the slide. Na-access mo na ba?
Yes po, yes po. I-open ko
Okay.
lang.
Okay. Take your time. Wala naman kayong klase after this, di ba?
Wala po. This is our makeup class po.
Okay.
Doc, it says here that the file isn't supported po.
I think it's not supported by your your gadget. It's a keynote presentation.
I will send it na lang po sa GC namin, Doc. So,
Keynote presentation siya. So for Apple rather users, pwede niya ma-open siguro. While
Dobra pa
waiting, let's...
naman. Kailangan pang Apple yung ano.
Hindi, pwedeng ano yan.
Bakit ang hirap-hirap ng buhay natin sa CSU?
Kaya nga eh. While we're waiting, Sir Ja, I'll attempt again to share my screen. Baka sakaling mag Sir Jack, I'm projecting my slides right now. Can you see it in your screen?
Wala, ang nakalagay ay screen broadcast,
Okay. Bakit kaya?
broadcast, stop broadcast, mga ganun lang.
Ay,
Send mo kaya sa akin, Doc.
Sure. Sige, send ko.
Try mo nga i-send sa akin.
Convert ko muna siya sa PDF siguro.
Ay, yes. Kung PDF, siguro
Magpalaro
ma-open ni
muna
dyan.
tayo. Sino pwedeng kumanta?
Oo, kanta muna si
Oo.
si Jane.
I will send it to you, Sir Jack, via Messenger.
Messenger ba? Okay.
Kung kaya.
Kung hindi, email. So, receive ko na siya, Doc.
Yeah.
That key siya. Paano ba to? Wait, I'll try to open. Hindi siya na-open sa
Okay.
Adobe.
Ano ko na lang, i-PDF ko na lang. Pero what will happen with if we'll convert it to PDF, some of the properties will be lost.
Nag-PDF, Doc, isend mo kay John Louie. Baka pwede.
It's coming to you now, sir.
Okay. Messenger?
Yeah. Sending.
Si John Louie naka-laptop?
Yes po, Prof.
Sige.
Ibang-iba talaga pag ano, no? Face to face, so online.
Oo nga, hindi pag
Or
online
Sir
naman,
Jack, are the second
mm,
years,
second
are
year
the second years,
students.
um,
Opo.
do they have also face to face class?
Actually, face-to-face silang lahat sa ano, Dok, sa klase ko.
Very good ah.
Oo. Ayan, pwede. I-send ko kay ano ito, Doc, kay John Louie. Try mo nga John, yung ano ni Doc. Forward ko sa iyo ah.
Sige.
Wala, ang dami
Now,
namang John Louie. John Louie Julian ba to? John
Yes.
Louie Julian. Okay.
Louis Garvida.
Send. Ikaw na lang mag-present.
I think you have to make her a host or make him the host or co-host.
I'll try. Actually, ikaw ang gagawa doon, Doc, kasi hindi na ako ang host. Oh, teka, pwede ko bang gawin?
John Louis, is it possible for you to share even if you're not the host?
Pwede. Make host. Pwede siya. Oh, make
Okay.
host ko na siya ha. Chuk! Okay, yes. Actually, pwede siya mag-share screen. Ako nga, pwede ako mag-share screen.
Oh, actually, even if it's not
Oh.
ano. Ayan.
Yan, Louie, ang inano ko, Doc, kasi mag-i-empake pa ako.
Sige, i-open ko lang.
Oo.
Sige. Bye, Sir Jack.
Bye, Doc.
Well, the only problem now is I won't be able to do my annotations in the slide. Hindi na tayo makakapag-drawing, no? By the way, yeah, okay, yan.
Yan mo, Doc, pag may extra budget tayo, bili tayo nung, ano yung sinasabi mo? Zoom Pro?
Zoom Pro.
Zoom Pro. Oh, Zoom Pro. Yun yung 300 ang capacity.
I think so. Baka hindi na natin rin masulit kasi face-to-face na rin tayo. Anyway.
Highway. Sige, Doc, iwan kita, mag-ipake lang muna ako.
Okay.
Bye, Doc. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay. So, John Louie, I'll just wait for my cue to transition the slide, okay? Hello, John Louie, can you hear me?
Yes po. Yes po.
Hello?
I can hear you po, Doc.
Okay, sige, thank you. All right. See. Okay, let's loosen up, guys. I won't be giving any post-lecture quiz for today. Wala ring pre-lecture quiz. Baka ina-anticipate nyo ay magpapa-quiz ang yung lecturer ngayong gabi. Wala. Okay? So just loosen up and relax. Okay? Now, as I said a while ago, we'll be talking about some of the concepts of immunology. Okay? But before we deal with that, I would like you to pause for a moment and think of something or recall of some concepts that you have already encountered, okay, in the past regarding the immune system. Okay, meron ba kayong, for example, katanungan about the immune system that hopefully will be answered after this lecture? Isipin nyo. Okay? Okay. Okay, hopefully meron kayong tanong, no, that will keep you interested and awake. Okay? So this is a 2-hour discussion. Okay? Hopefully we'll cover the basic concepts of immunology and concepts of the immune system as well, in order for you to have the base knowledge later on that you'll be using when you come and when you are able now to experience the most awaited year level, okay? Yung pagiging third year ninyo dyan, okay? I-ano lang natin yung expectations, no? The first year and second year is on a different level compared to the third year and fourth year, okay? Minsan, ang pagiging first year and second year is the stage at which you should be able to form your study habits, okay? And contain your or sustain your eagerness, okay? Kasi pag third year na kayo at saka fourth year na kayo, it is yet another level, okay? So my task or my objective for today is to have at least, or if not all, okay, some of you learned, okay, about this topic. So at this point in time, let me introduce to you the objectives of the study, okay? Each of you is well, hopefully able to define immunology as a science, okay? And to identify historical landmarks, contributions of some of the most prominent individuals to the development and evolution of immunology as science. And to discuss the anatomy and structure of the human immune system, okay? And while we talk about the anatomy, we should also be able to discuss the physiology or function of the human immune system. And lastly, okay, everyone should be able to discuss at the end of this lecture the immune reactions or responses to certain parasitic infection. Okay? Except for the last objective, okay? Most of our topics will evolve in the context of general, okay? Immunology, okay? Or the general immune response of the body to pathogens, okay? Louis, can you move the slide for me? Okay, the third slide, Red. Okay. Immunology as a science, okay, is rooted in the study of immunity, okay? Immunity is the condition of being resistant to infection. Now, having said that, immunology, in fact, is or can be considered as a derivative of the science of microbiology. Okay? So nauna munang mag-evolve ang microbiology. People during the early times, right? And in the Renaissance period were very curious, okay, of the cause of certain illnesses that causes havoc or should we say socio-economic turmoil during their time. Okay? Some of them attribute illnesses or diseases to some transcendental being, di ba? Sabi nila, nagkakasakit ka kasi pinaparusahan ka ng Diyos. Okay? Yun yung paniniwala dati. And in line to this or with this thinking, ang sabi nila, diseases or illnesses are caused by some spontaneous force. Okay? That's why during the early periods, meron tayo tinatawag na paradigm of thinking na spontaneous generation. Okay? Nagkasakit ka na lang basta-basta. Okay? Further, spontaneous generation suggests that living organisms come from inanimate or non-living organisms. Okay? Now, as the science or technology, or should I say, evolve, the knowledge about diseases also has come into a point that nowadays we explain illnesses or diseases at a molecular level, diba? So it took us several centuries, okay, to evolve to such a level wherein we understand now that diseases are or can be explained due to molecular perturbances or changes, okay, inside the human body. Now, immunology is the study of host reactions when foreign substances are introduced into the body. So host reactions, you being the host, okay, and everything else, okay, being considered as a foreign, okay, material or a potential pathogen that would cause disease if the patient's immune system is not able to combat that particular pathogen. Okay? So bakit? Bakit if? Now, let me just remind everybody that when you are exposed to a pathogen, doesn't necessarily mean that you will develop a disease, right? From an epidemiologic standpoint, a microorganism, let's say a parasite, okay, may be able to gain, okay, exposure to an individual host. And when the individual host is exposed, he may develop infection. Okay? And if the host is vulnerable or susceptible, he may develop infection. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he gets the disease or he gets to develop the clinical manifestation. Okay? The factor or the reason why you don't develop the disease and your other classmates develop the disease, given that you have the same exposure, is your immune system. Okay? Siya yung siya yung nagdedetermina. It is the one that determines whether or not you develop the disease. Okay? Your immune system. So what is in the immune system? Okay? That's the question. That's the million peso question, not dollar. Okay? For tonight. What consists the immune system of human beings? Okay? You or me, can you think of an organ that is primarily considered as part of the immune system? John Louis, meron ka bang alam na organ? Or would you mind if you share your knowledge about any organ that is considered part of the immune system?
Yes, po, Doc. If
Yeah.
it's any organ, I'd love to think about the lymph nodes po.
Lymph nodes, correct. Okay, lymph nodes. So in Tagalog, lymph nodes is kulani, right? Kulani. That's the Filipino term, I guess. Now, in infection or in the event or time of infection, okay, yung kulani ni John Louis or yung lymph nodes niya ay lumalaki. Tama? Bakit kaya? Have you ever wondered why? Okay? Does your kulani enlarge in times or when you have dental caries, di ba? Kung meron kang bukbok ng ngipin, ang kulani mo na lumalaki ay yung nasa leeg mo. Tama? Hindi yung kulani mo doon sa singit. Okay? Masyadong malayo. Okay? So linger on that question, no? Ano kaya yung mga organs aside from lymph nodes? Okay. Pero bago natin yung talakayin, let us go back in time, right? To appreciate and remember these certain individuals, because if we're not for them, we'll not be having this conversation, okay? Can you move the slide, John Louis? Okay. As said a while ago, immunology is a study of host reaction against a foreign antigen or a pathogen, right? So these are the very people or individuals during their time. Siguro mga 17th century yan. Okay? Renaissance period. Okay? On your left, you're looking or you're seeing, sino yan? Si Robert Hooke. Okay? Robert Hooke is the one staring at you right now. Okay? Blue eyes. Okay? He is a scientist. Okay? He is a physiologist, okay? Anatomist. He is expert to many sciences. Okay? Now, his contribution in the study or field of immunology, okay, can be traced back when he theorized, okay, or proposed the cell theory, okay, cell theory. Kung maalala niyo, di ba, sa biology niyo dyan, Robert Hooke was the one who demonstrated or observed the composition of a tree bark, okay? Yung cork, okay? Was able to observe that the cork or the bark of the tree is composed of repeating single units of box-like structure, okay? Yun yung cell na sinasabi. Okay? Now, that was a dead cork, right? On your right is Anton van Leeuwenhoek. He was not a scientist, okay, to start with. He was a merchant, in fact. So, mga ngalakal, si Anton van Leeuwenhoek. And his craft, okay, was in the making of lenses, okay? And these lenses was very useful, okay? And he used that to observe living microorganisms. Okay? While Robert Hooke was able to identify and propose the cell theory by observing the dead, okay, cells in a bark, Anton van Leeuwenhoek was able to demonstrate and observe living microorganisms. Okay? Do you wonder how he made it? Or how he was able to observe living organisms? Some accounts would tell that he was into observing his own oral scrapings. So kumuha siya ng specimen sa bibig niya, okay? Secretions maybe, or yung mga plaques sa gums niya or at ngipin niya, and he observed that under the microscope. So he coined the term animalcules, okay, to refer to those living microorganisms that he was able to observe. Okay? And in fact, Anton van Leeuwenhoek is the father of John Louis. Okay? No, that's just a joke. Okay? Anton van Leeuwenhoek is the father of microbiology. Okay? Siya ang tinaguriang ama ng microbiolohiya. Okay? On the next slide, you can see that you can notice that these individuals may have lived in a relatively more modern era, okay, compared to Anton van Leeuwenhoek tsaka Robert Hooke, tama? Iba na yung hairstyle nila eh. Okay, hindi na mahaba. Doon mo makikita ibang era na sila, iba na ang uso, okay? They were looking at something, okay? These scientists, namely, are on your left is Louis Pasteur, okay? And in your right, who is that man? He is Robert Koch, okay? Louis Pasteur is a senior scientist, okay, of Robert Koch. Mas nauna si Louis Pasteur, as you will see later on. Louis Pasteur is considered, okay, the father of immunology. Okay? He is known of his work regarding the foundational principles of what we call right now immunization or vaccination. Yan si Louis Pasteur. Okay? He made several contributions, in fact. During the time before him, the people during the time before him thought that illnesses or diseases are caused by some forces spontaneously, tama? But Louis Pasteur, he was the individual who debunked the theory of spontaneous generation. He was able to decisively demonstrate that diseases are caused by microorganisms and that living organisms come from existing living organisms. Okay? Life results to life. Okay? Robert Koch, on one hand, okay, not in contrary, okay, because his works were based on the works of his predecessors, okay, si Robert Koch. He is well known, okay, by his work on the Koch postulates, tama? Kung maalala nyo, yung Koch postulates, stating that certain disease or a specific disease is caused by specific pathogen. Okay? Yung Koch postulates natin, there are 4. Okay? And you will encounter that in your subject microbiology. Okay? Next slide. Now this is the most exciting part. Okay, during our time, kami naman, mga maestro nyo, is given the task to facilitate, okay, learning. Okay? Facilitate the understanding of the field of or science of immunology. So yun lang yung may ambag namin for now. Okay? Kung mapapansin nyo, noon, pahabaan ng buhok, ngayon, paiksian na. Okay? Ako yan 2 weeks ago. Okay? Bagong picture ko yan. Okay? And guys, wala lang. That's meant for ano lang. Okay? for an icebreaker, okay? Baka kasi hindi nyo pa na-meet si Sir Jack. You have already met him during your face-to-face, right? Okay.
Sir,
Hello.
napindot ko po ata, sir. I'm sorry po.
Okay.
I'm sorry po.
Okay. Ayan. Kasi nung last year, that was, students and teachers alike don't know their professors and students, okay? Because they don't see each other. Okay. Kaya nga I'm a bit sad kung face-to-face ang klase. Ay kung online rather ang klase kasi hindi ko kayo nakikita. And hopefully you are paying attention and are listening to the lecture right now. Honestly, one of the limiting factors for a teacher like us, okay, in delivering and relatively more efficient, okay, or interesting lecture is the setup, okay? Kasi ang kumpas namin depende doon sa demeanor ng mga estudyante. Okay? But in online classes, hindi namin alam yun eh. No? Hindi namin alam kung may nakikinig. Hindi namin alam kung paano, lalakasan bang boses or hinaan bang boses. We don't see our gestures. In turn, you get easily distracted. Okay? Sabi nila, ang attention span ng tao is around several minutes lang, tama dyan? 5 to 10 minutes lang ang attention span. Kailangan mong gulatin para bumalik. Okay? Baka nagde-daydreaming. In our case, baka nag-night dreaming na ngayon. By the way, the next slide would, please turn okay. The next slide indicates to us or shows us, okay, a timeline. Oh, delete, no? A timeline. Anyway, you will have a copy of this PowerPoint after the presentation. I've placed that on that particular slide, the timeline, okay, of regarding the evolution, okay, historical development of microbiology and immunology. So as you can appreciate, no, as I said a while ago, immunology was somehow a derivative or brainchild of the science of microbiology. Nauna munang naging curious ang mga scientists natin regarding the diseases or disease pathogens. Okay? And when human society or scientists, okay, let's say, have already understood, okay, the microbiology of disease, the science of immunology came next. Okay? Tapos na tayong intindihin yung mga mikrobyo. Intindihin naman natin ngayon yung sarili natin, sabi nila. Okay? That's why on the highlighted with purple, okay? Part of the timeline, okay? Yung baba ng golden age of microbiology, okay? Or the foundational works of the science of immunology naman. Okay? So makikita nyo ngayon dyan, no? Although, as I said a while ago, Louis Pasteur started his career or his contributions primarily discussing about microbiology. He is, in fact, the father of immunology. Okay? Kasi yung previous contributions niya led to the development, okay, or foundation of immunology. Okay, enough with that. Okay? Hindi naman tayo history subject, okay? Now, it is imperative or a must that we should know the function of the immune system. Okay? As is stated there, the function of the human immune system is to recognize, okay, respond to, and destroy a wide variety of invading organisms. Okay? When you talk of invading microorganisms in context of the human immune system, we refer to, okay, the bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. Okay? These microorganisms, given the right timing, the right host, may cause disease. Okay? It may cause infection. Okay? Take note ha, iba ang infection, iba ang disease. Okay? The immune system also maintains a surveillance, okay, over the appearance of new or foreign antigens, o yung tinatawag nating neoantigens on tumor cells. Okay? This topic is something else, okay? Yung tumor immunology. Okay? Hindi natin masyado yan i-handle or tatackle, okay? But it is prudent for us to state the other functions of the immune system besides its function in combating or preventing infection or disease, okay? Your immune system, our immune system also is responsible for rejection of allogeneic organ or tissue transplant and graft versus host disease. Okay? When someone is needing a kidney because her or his kidney is already destroyed, okay, the most important barrier or hindrance to a successful organ, okay, transplantation is your very own immune system. Okay? Well, that topic is another else. Okay? Iba na yan, ibang topic yan. So we will focus to the function of the immune system in context of infectious diseases. Okay? Particularly parasitic infections. Okay? Let us move. Now, as mentioned, the immune system should be able to recognize, tama? Recognize first. And should be able to respond appropriately. Okay? Take note of the word appropriately. Okay? Because in some certain instances, your immune system may be the cause of the disease, okay, triggered by a pathogen. Okay? Meaning, imbes na yung immune system mo ang mag-protect sa'yo, it is your very own immune system that will injure you or cause the disease. Okay? More of an extent compared to the inciting pathogen. Okay? Trigger lang yung pathogen. Pero yung immune system mo ang culprit. Okay? So take note, your immune system should be able to recognize and respond accordingly. Okay? Paulit-ulit, no? Inuulit ko para ma-inculcate sa inyo. Okay? Now, the function of the immune system can be better understood, right? If we consider this diagram, okay? And if we study its function along with its anatomy or structure, okay? Mag-isip nga kayo ng bagay na function, okay? Function of something that has no structure. Kaya tinuturo sa atin, di ba, anatomy and physiology because they go hand in hand, okay? You don't have a function if you don't have a structure or form, okay? So, ganun natin aaralin ang immune system, okay? The immune system, it is said that it is or it can be divided, okay? For for educational purposes lang, into an innate immune system and adaptive immune system. Okay? Look at the diagram, di ba? The immune system is further categorized, okay? On your left, into an innate immune system, and onto your right, or at your right, is the adaptive immune system. Okay? Ano nga bang istorya ng immune system ng tao? It is said that the immune system, okay, is or has evolved for over 1 million years. I'm referring to the human immune system, okay? It has evolved for over 1 million years, okay? In a manner where the innate immune system first, okay, evolved and developed, okay, succeeded by the adaptive immune system. So at that perspective, okay, mas naunang nag-evolve or nagkaroon tayo as human beings ng innate immune system. Okay? And came next is the adaptive or acquired immune system. Now, later on, if you would still remember, siguro several months from now, you will be studying immunology and serology, okay? At when you are now third year. The innate immune system is also called non-specific limb of the immune system, okay? Non-specific, okay? That is the innate immune system. Whereas the adaptive immune system is also called specific, okay? Or is also described as is the specific limb or part of the immune system. Okay? So let's differentiate first, okay? Ano nga ba ang kahulugan or what is the meaning when we say non-specific, okay, versus specific in the context of studying the immune system, okay? Take note, guys, the term non-specific does not denote or somehow it does not connote, okay, inferiority over the specific or adaptive immune system. Hindi ganon. Okay? There is no discrimination or comparison, okay, to say this limb of the immune system is inferior and this limb of the immune system is superior. Hindi ganon. Because in reality, the innate, non-specific, and the adaptive or specific, okay, limb of the immune system function hand in hand. Okay? Cycle yan. So by no way that we should label innate as inferior and adaptive as superior. No, that's not the case. Okay? Now, under these two limbs of the immune system, we can further study, okay, this immune system in terms of the structure of its effector substances. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na cellular, okay, cellular immune system as well as humoral immune system, which are both present in the two different limbs of the immune system. Meaning, the innate has cellular components, the innate has humoral components. Okay? It is also true that the adaptive has cellular components, also it has humoral components, as you can see in the diagram. Now, bakit importante ito? Okay? The immune system response, okay, is very complex. Okay? It's very complex. Okay? The reason why we present these different components in such a manner to simplify it. Okay? Pero very complex talaga ang immune response. Okay? Now, pag sinabing cellular, guys, okay? By cellular, we mean yung mga formed elements. Tama? Cells. Okay? So at this point, mag-isip kayo, John, ng cells. Ano kayang cells ang part ng immune system regardless, okay? If it's adaptive or innate. What comes to your mind kung sinabing cellular? Okay. In general, yeah. Pag cellular,
The white blood cells po.
white blood cells, okay? We were taught that white blood cells are the soldier, tama? Soldier of the body, okay? The combatants, okay, of the human body, tama? Sila yung soldier. Okay? Well, WBCs can be described, okay, in that way, okay, as an analogy, tama? They are WBCs, okay, certain population of WBCs can be considered under the innate cellular, okay, and few of them can be considered as part of the adaptive cellular. As you can see in the diagram, an example of cellular, okay, components of the adaptive immune system are the lymphocytes. Okay, lymphocytes. Lymphocytes may come with different subtypes. Okay, they may come in the form of B cells, okay, and T cells. And we also have lymphocytes that are considered under the innate immune system. Okay? Yung tinatawag nating lymphocytes, natural killer cells. Okay? Yung NK cells na sinasabi natin. Okay? So those are the examples. Okay? What are on the innate side, okay, innate cellular immune system, examples naman of cells. These are your macrophages, neutrophils, dendritic cells, eosinophils, okay, basophils, and mast cells. Okay, so sila yung cellular. Now, when we talk of humoral, guys, they are also known as soluble. Okay, soluble substances. Okay. Now, there are some books, okay, that label the soluble components of the innate immune system as acute phase reactants. Okay? Makikita natin mamaya. Reserving the term humoral, referring to the soluble component of the adaptive immune system. Okay? So, minsan nakakalito. But in this context or lecture, we use humoral, okay? We use the term humoral to refer to the soluble substances, okay? Effector substances, both under the innate immune system and adaptive immune system. Okay? Pag humoral, nakakatawa daw. It's not the case, okay? So, we made some distinctions already, di ba? Cellular versus humoral. So alam nyo na. Alam nyo naman na dati, I guess. Okay. Now, let us proceed. Okay. Before we proceed, let's cite an example muna, no? For the adaptive immune system, humoral part, the typical example there is your immunoglobulins or your antibodies. Okay? Yun yung typical example ng adaptive humoral. Okay? Ang typical example naman ng innate humoral, okay, component of the immune system is the complement. Okay, complement. Okay. Now let us proceed, okay, in discussing in a more detail the anatomy of the immune system, okay? Taking into consideration first the innate immune system, okay? John Louis, ano na yung slide natin. Okay, blanco yan. Supposedly magdo-drawing ako dyan, pero I lost the privilege of the use of my Ayan. Okay? At this juncture, okay, we are talking about the innate immune system. Okay, innate. Okay? As defined a while ago, innate is non-specific. Tama? They are non-specific in nature. By non-specific, we mean that given an individual, okay? Individual, let's say, sinong mayor? Is this section 2C and 2C only?
2C
Or
and 2D po, Doc.
2D? Okay. Jane, I believe you're the mayor.
Of 2C po, Doc.
2C, and John is the mayor of?
Zaldi
I'm not
Bakay po for 2D, Doc.
Okay. Now, okay. Sige, let me use, okay. Imagine that you have two different non-identical parasite. Okay? Jane, anong alam mong parasite?
Any parasite, Doc?
Yeah, any parasite.
Trichomonas vaginalis, Doc.
Okay. Trichomonas vaginalis. So that's interesting, Jane. Trichomonas vaginalis. Si John Louis naman, give me another parasite.
The Ascaris lumbricoides po.
Ascaris lumbricoides. Okay. Nice. Hindi ko kayo kinausap dati. Hindi to scripted, okay? Trichomonas vaginalis is, let's say, in the nomenclature of parasite, is a protozoan. Okay? It's a protozoal microorganism. Tama? Ang Trichomonas vaginalis. Okay? Protozoa yan. Okay? That is unicellular. Okay? Whereas, Ascaris lumbricoides, tama? Ascaris yung sinabi mo, John? Is a multicellular, tama? Eukaryotic helminth. Okay? Ascaris is a, generally speaking, nematode, roundworm. Okay? Giant yan malaki yan. Okay? So, you can see the difference, tama? Maganda yung example. A protozoa and a helminth. Okay. Usually, parasitic infection can be classified as a protozoan, a helminth, or a ectoparasite. Okay? Ganun yung minsan or karaniwan namin tinuturo kung paano i-classify yung infection. Protozoal infection, helminthic infection, or an ectoparasite. Now, let's set aside at this context the ectoparasite, okay? Huwag na nating pakialaman yung ectoparasite. Let's talk about muna infection, okay? Infection of protozoa and infection of Ascaris. Kasi yung ectoparasite, infestation yon, hindi infection ang ginagawa. Okay. Now, in context of the innate immune system, okay? How would you expect, okay, of your innate immune system to respond to this microorganism? Doon sa protozoa at saka sa helminth. innate immune system is said to be non-specific. Tama? Non-specific. So that the response, okay, of the innate immune system to these two different, okay, in these two different example of microorganism or parasite is the same. Kasi nga, non-specific ang ating innate immune system. It does not discriminate. So that when these microorganism, the protozoa, the Trichomonas vaginalis, as well as the Ascaris, okay, Lymbrocoides, gained access and established infection, okay, in the host, the innate immune system will respond non-specifically or the same. That is how we mean when we say non-specific ang innate immune system. Okay? Now, the innate immune system, John, is subdivided for the purpose of studying it, okay, into external and internal innate immune system. So, sir, ano yung external tsaka ano yung internal? So you can imagine the human immune system, okay? Or the person or the body is covered by the skin, tama? And mucous membrane. This physical barrier, right, defines or delineates and separates your body from your environment. Okay? Your skin is one of the external components of your innate immune system, in fact. So it's very important, di ba? Sabi nila, ano ba ang largest organ of the body? Is it skin or liver? Depende kung sinong author yung tatanungin, di ba? Or nagsasabi. Okay? But some would say skin, tama? Some would say your liver. Anyway, they function differently naman, okay? So your skin does not only serve as a physical barrier, okay? Now, the counterpart of the skin that lines your the orifices of your body is the mucous membrane, tama? Or the mucosa. So the skin and the mucous membranes are the first line of defense of your body against potential or invading pathogens, yung skin mo. Now, the importance of the skin and the mucosa or mucous membrane cannot be overstated. Meaning, sobrang dami nilang function in terms of protecting our body from invading microorganism. Okay, as you can see in your slide, tama? Okay. But a good example in demonstrating the usefulness or function of the skin as your first defense against invading microorganism, okay, is looking at the condition of burn patients, yung mga nasunog na tao. Burn patients, right? Before they got burned, they were healthy. No infection at all, no disease. But by the time they got burned, they are prone into developing several infections kasi wala na yung skin nila. That's a good example. Okay. Now, aside from the skin, okay, as you can see in the table, are the different, okay, parts or components of the external innate immune system. Okay. On the table on your right, you can see lactic acids, okay, or secretions from the dermal structures, okay. For example, your sebaceous gland and sweat glands, okay, confers some degree of protection. Your cilia, okay, that is found in the lining of your respiratory tract. Okay, this is a subcellular structures, okay? Cilia that has a sweep-like motion, okay? Clearing of debris that you have inhaled during respiration out from the body. Kaya it is no wonder, and it should not cause alarm to you when upon awakening, okay, dyan, may plema ka or di kaya para kang may secretions na naipon. Okay, at the back of your nose. Diba? Diba dyan? Tapos sinisinghot mo, tapos ay, plema, meron. Because that's the natural order of things, should I say. Ganyan talaga. That's part of the effort of the immune system to get rid of potential pathogens. Yung cilia ninyo. That's why smokers are prone to developing pneumonia or viral upper respiratory tract infections. Okay, they are more prone into developing such ill diseases, okay, compared to non-smokers. Kasi nasisira yung cilia or yung mucociliary apparatus ng respiratory tract. Now, also noteworthy is the stomach acid, right? Your urine. Your urine serves as a mechanical force, okay? The flushing force of urine gets rid of ascending bacteria, okay, trying to infect your urinary bladder and your kidney. Okay? So sa mga hindi umiinom diyan ng tubig or ng plenty amount of water, ay may prone silang mag-develop ng urinary tract infection because they don't get the benefit of the effect of the urine, okay? Or the process of urination. So maganda, ihi ka ng ihi para ma-flush out, right? Also, the pH in your genitalia, especially the female, it is said that the ideal pH or normal pH of female genitalia, external genitalia, is about 4 to 5. Okay, yung pH. This relatively acidic pH, okay, confers a degree of protection against opportunistic microorganisms such as fungal Candida albicans. Tama? So, importante na ma-maintain ang pH at that level. Okay? Now, enough with the external innate immune system. Okay? Let us proceed with the internal innate cellular immune system naman, guys. Okay? Scenario. When the protozoal infection, Trichomonas vaginalis, okay? By the way, Jana, how is Trichomonas vaginalis being transmitted to humans?
It can be transmitted via sexual intercourse.
Sexual intercourse, okay? Okay, sexual intercourse. Now, the act of sexual intercourse can be said to be, what you call this, potentially let's say, how should we term that? In a sensitive manner. The act of sexual intercourse, even if it is desirable, okay, and part of human perpetuation can sometimes be the manner of infection. Tama? Kasi because of some risky behaviors and rough behaviors, okay, during sexual intercourse, let's say simply a person can get the abrasions, okay, or magasgas, tama, yung mga genital organs, okay. In the case of Trichomonas vaginalis, during sexual intercourse, it may gain access, okay, it may gain access. Now, if the mucous membrane covering the vaginal tract, okay, or the genitalia of the male is breached, tama? Na-breach na eh, yung mucous membrane, which is the example of your external innate immune system, tama? If your external innate immune system, your mucous membrane in your genitals, somehow, in a very wonderful way, got breached, the next line of defense is the internal innate immune system. Okay? Kasi nakapasok na eh. It has already passed, okay? Or breached the external innate immune system. Okay? It is now the responsibility or function of the innate, okay, internal immune system, okay, to combat this Trichomonas vaginalis. Now, at this juncture, we should be able to identify, okay, what are the effectors or components of the internal innate immune system. As I said a while ago, it is also in this juncture that we can further classify the components as to cellular and humoral or soluble components. First off, we start with the internal innate cellular immune system. So, on the table, okay, as shown to you, are the effector cells of the innate immune system. Okay? We have the different WBCs. Okay? Neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, mast cells, monocytes, macrophages, dendritic cells. Okay? As you can notice, there are functions, overlapping functions that is played by, or that is being induced or played by the different cell types. There are also non-overlapping or distinct functions, okay, specific or special to certain number of cell types. Okay. Now, on a point of view or in the context of parasitic infection, okay, usually, right, what is being impressed to us is that the most important, okay, cell type is the eosinophil. Tama? Eosinophil, as indicated in the table, okay, under the column of function. Eosinophil function to kill parasites. Okay. Now, let me make some clarifications. Although eosinophil, okay, one of its primary function is in the control or eradication of parasites. Okay, take note. The immune system of human, okay, in relation to parasitic infection, okay, does not only operates or function using eosinophils alone. Okay? Hindi lang eosinophils ang importante sa parasitic infection. Okay? But if you were asked, among the WBCs, okay, what WBC is known to function, okay, is known to function or is known to have the primary function of killing parasites, it's eosinophil. Okay? Now, these WBCs are said to be part of the innate immune system, tama? They are non-specific. Okay? They are non-specific. Your neutrophils, eosinophils, okay, monocytes, and macrophages, as well as some types of your dendritic cells are considered phagocytes. Tama? Phagocytes. The concept of phagocytosis, if you have noticed in the timeline, okay, was observed and proposed by Elias Mechnikov, a Russian, okay, a Russian scientist. Phagocytosis. In fact, the process of phagocytosis, as you can see in the slide, is composed of several mechanisms or processes or steps, okay, so to speak. Phagocytosis, in fact, is the most important function of the innate immune system, okay, especially the internal innate immune system, okay, phagocytosis. Because during phagocytosis, a pathogen, okay, a target microorganism is eaten by your phagocytes, okay, and is attempted to be digested, okay, and killed inside the phagocyte, and eventually excreted out of the system. Okay? So if you would reduce the Jean-Louis, could you reduce the slide? I-zoom out mo. Okay. Now the step of phagocytosis is depicted or illustrated, okay, on the slide. Essentially, phagocytes eat the pathogen. Okay? So it engulfs the pathogen, making now a seemingly contained microorganism, diba, inside the phagocyte. Now, the process of phagocytosis is not simple, guys. Okay? First, it is very important to understand the process of phagocytosis as one that is receptor mediated. Okay? Ang phagocytosis is receptor mediated. Kaya may tinatawag tayo on the upper left table, pattern recognition receptors. Okay? These pattern recognition receptors are present on your neutrophils, eosinophils, monocyte, macrophages, and dendritic cells. Okay? By way of binding, okay, a highly conserved molecule present in the microorganism called the pathogen-associated membrane proteins or PAMPs na tinatawag natin, your phagocytes can recognize, okay, the Trichomonas vaginalis and Ascaris lumbricoides. Okay? So, receptor-mediated yun. Okay? Take note, it is the process of recognition is always, okay, or most of the time, if not always, receptor-mediated. Interactions between human cells or human immune system and the outside world or the pathogens, okay? Most of the time, if not always, okay, are receptor-mediated. Okay, so don't forget the receptor. The general term is the pattern recognition receptors. Example, TLR or yung toll-like receptors. Okay? What is being recognized present on the pathogen are the PAMPs or the pathogen-associated molecular patterns. Okay? So yung Ascaris lumbricoides nyo at Trichomonas vaginalis, meron silang PAMPs na tinatawag. Okay? That will serve as a ligand to the receptors of the phagocytes. Okay. Now that is the internal innate cellular immune system. Okay. Now, John Louis, you might wonder how cells communicate with each other. Don't you?
Of course, I do po, Doc.
Okay. Paano kasi kaya sila nag-uusap, no? Through Messenger kaya? Through Viber? Well, to tell you honestly, the cells of the human body or our cells, not only WBCs, or let's say for example, to make it more specifically, WBCs, okay? In this context, communicate by way of the cytokine system. Cytokines, okay? Di ba nakita nyo? WBC produce cytokines, okay? Kumbaga sa atin, okay, yung cytokine system na yan ang messenger system ng or communication platform or means of communication ng katawan natin. Okay? The cytokines. Kung if we look at or if we think of the term cytokines means cell, tama? Cyto means cell, tama? Kines means activity or movement. Okay? So that cytokines these are small proteins or peptides, okay, that facilitates the communication and so the activity or behavior of one cell and in fact all the cells in the body. Okay, don't forget the term cytokines. That's the communication network or system of the immune system. Okay, now next, let us talk about the humoral or soluble innate immune system. Okay, on the next slide, you can see the tabulated, okay, presentation of the different, okay, some of the different soluble or humoral components of the innate immune system. Okay? So, pwedeng pakiusog natin dyan yung slide. Musog ba? Okay.
Sir, paano?
Ha?
Paano po, sir?
Next slide na. Next slide.
Okay po.
Medyo vague yung instruction mo. Pausog pataas o pausog pababa. Okay. Now guys, at this point in time, we'll be talking about the soluble part of the internal innate immune system. Still, we're still in the innate immune system. Big sabihin, non-specific. True to all pathogens. Okay? Big sabihin, the response of the innate immune system, humoral part, is the same to Ascaris lumbricoides tsaka Trichomonas vaginalis. Okay? I wonder, ang Trichomonas vaginalis, paano nagmamanifest? Okay. Mamaya, pag-usapan natin. Okay. Internal innate humoral immune system. Okay. As I said a while ago, the soluble or humoral innate immune system is also known as yung acute phase reactants. Acute phase reactants. Why? Because in the event of injury, or in this context, infection, okay? Infection. These acute phase reactants, which are usually produced in the liver, okay, are produced at a greater amount. So yung concentration nila during injury or infection nag-increase. Okay? In preparation and in the attempt of the body to combat the invading microorganism. Okay? Now, magbanggit lang tayo guys ng example ng acute phase reactants under the humoral soluble innate immune system. Based on the table, we have CRP or yung C-reactive protein natin. Okay? We have serum amyloid A, okay? Alpha-1 antitrypsin. We also have fibrinogen. We have haptoglobin. We have ceruloplasmin. And of course, last but never the least, okay, the complement system. Okay? Complement. Okay? Now, this topic in third year is being taught for one meeting, okay? For 3 hours. Okay? So, i-abbreviate lang natin, okay? Now, the functions also of these acute phase reactants are indicated, okay, in the table, right? Let's take for example, guys, yung ating complement. Okay, complement proteins. Pupunta nga tayo sa could you turn to the next slide? Okay. We're talking about an example of the humoral innate immune system. Okay. So guys, ito yung kailangang i-memorize pag third year na kayo, okay? Yung complement pathway. So complement, okay? These are soluble, okay? These are soluble substances normally, okay, found on healthy individuals, okay, at a relatively lesser concentration. Okay? Meaning, kung walang infection or injury, meron tayong normal level of complement sa katawan. Now, in the event of infection, okay, by Ascaris lumbricoides and Trichomonas vaginalis, okay, the soluble components, the complement also increases in concentration. Okay? Now take note, do not forget, the previously mentioned component, yung cellular naman, okay? Yung mga WBCs natin. The cellular and the humoral components, okay, they are in a way activated simultaneously, okay, or in a manner that is harmonious to induce a appropriate immune response. Okay? So you do not consider one component of the innate immune system separately or independently functioning. Okay? In reality, yung cellular tsaka humoral, they go hand in hand. That is also true with the innate immune system and adaptive immune system. Okay? Going back sa complement, 90% of the complement components are produced in the liver. Okay? Sa liver. Okay. So, that's how important your liver is. Because if you wonder, the liver has several functions, di ba? May synthetic functions. Okay, it produces a considerable or substantial amount of proteins in the body, essential proteins. The liver also is responsible for excretion of byproducts of human metabolism. Okay, it also is responsible for detoxification, tama? Processes. So maraming purpose ang liver. One is the synthetic function. Okay, now the complement, as in the name, okay, as the name implies, the complement was coined because it is taught and is also true still, okay? The complement functions to complement or to enhance the function of the other components of the immune system. For example, the complement enhances the killing or neutralizing effect of antibodies. Kaya siya tinawag na complement. Okay? Because it enhances another process. Okay? That is complement. Now, in the laboratory, guys, siguro ano kayo, no? You wonder, paano natin na what are the components of the innate immune system that can be measured? Siyempre, medical laboratory scientist, di ba? Tayo. So you might wonder, di ba? Or you surely wonder kung ano yung laboratory application nitong pinag-aaralan natin, di ba? In the laboratory, as far as the topics that we have covered are concerned, the parameters that we measure are one, yun nga, complement. We measure complement. Concentration. Yung C3, measure natin yan. Okay? We also, in the laboratory, measure the amount or quantity of the WBCs, tama? Kaya meron tayong CBC, tama? Indifferential count. O mini-measure natin yon. In a more sophisticated laboratory, specializing in immunology, okay? Or serology, may mga advanced technologies din tayo. Okay? We can enumerate lymphocytes. Okay? By the use of flow cytometry, mabibilang mo kulang B cell, ilang T cell. Okay? Ang meron. So, with this technology, okay, and knowledge, the diagnosis of certain diseases is possible. Okay? You appreciate how important our role is, di ba? Okay. Now, that, ladies and gentlemen, is, I think, enough, okay, for you to understand the basic components of the innate immune system. Okay? Recap, pag innate immune system, merong external, internal, tama? And then under this internal, meron tayong cellular tsaka humoral components. Okay? So pag nakapagbigay ka ng isang example of each of the categories, ayan, pwede na. Okay? Ewan ko kung magpapaquiz ba si Sir Jack sa inyo. How do you do your class ba? May quiz ba siya kayo mamaya? Or later on regarding this topic?
Wala po ata, Doc. But we will have unit test po on Thursday po.
Okay, sige. Now guys, let us discuss naman the other limb of the immune system. Okay, ito medyo babalik tayo sa anatomy, okay? The anatomy of the adaptive immune system. Katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, di ba? Adaptive immune system has the property or characteristic of specificity. Okay? Bakit siya tinawag na specific? Okay? Sometimes, adaptive is also called acquired immune system. Tama? But I would, in my opinion, it is better to use the term adaptive than the acquired. Okay? Term. So, adaptive. Kasi pag sinabi nating acquired, parang ang connotation kasi ay nakuha natin. Okay? Nakuha natin from something or someone that is initially not part of our immune system, di ba? Pag acquired, tama? Acquired. But in fact, the better word is adaptive. Kasi the immune system, your immune system, okay, our immune system starts to develop as early as the embryonic stage of life. Ibig sabihin, balot ka pa lang, nasa loob ka pa lang ng sinapupunan, okay? As early as 2 months age of gestation, okay? Ano itsura mo pa lang ng 2 months? Para ka pa lang embryo, di ba? Nasa loob ka pa lang ng yolk sac. O nasa loob ka pa lang ng sinapupunan ng magulang natin, nasa loob pa lang tayo ng sinapupunan ng magulang natin, nagde-develop na, guys, ang ating immune system. Okay, that is also true sa ating innate immune system tsaka adaptive immune system. So, pag ginamit kasi natin yung acquired na term, it contradicts yung fact na yun eh. That's why adaptive yung gusto kong gamitin. Okay? But let us consider bakit siya tinatawag na acquired. Okay? Kasi tinatawag siyang acquired, guys, kasi the adaptive immune system, although it is present, okay? It is present when you are still being developed inside the womb, di ba? Acquires its specificity against a particular specific pathogen when you are exposed to it. Okay? That's the reason tinatawag rin siyang specific. Okay? Versus yung non-specific na innate immune system. Okay. Now, in context of Ascaris lumbricoides saka Trichomonas vaginalis. Tama? Sinabi natin kanina, the Ascaris lumbricoides and Trichomonas vaginalis essentially will trigger the same mechanisms or responses in relation to the innate immune system. Tama? Kasi nga, non-specific yun. Now, the difference between the immune response of the body against the Ascaris lumbricoides and the Trichomonas vaginalis, okay, is consists in the immune response by the adaptive immune system. Kasi specific na siya. What do we mean by specific? Ibig sabihin, later on, yung antibody, okay, na maproproduce ng adaptive immune system ninyo or yung immunoglobulin, okay, or antibody na maproproduce ng adaptive immune system mo, is specific only to Trichomonas vaginalis. Okay? If you get infected with Ascaris lumbricoides, your antibody that you've formed against the Trichomonas vaginalis will not afford you protection against the the Ascaris lumbricoides. Okay? So magkaiba sila, right? Now, let us consider the organs that is involved or that comprise the adaptive immune system. Okay? Una sa lahat, meron tayong tinatawag na primary lymphoid organs. Okay? Primary lymphoid organs. These are your bone marrow and your thymus. So your bone marrow is also responsible for the process of hematopoiesis or yung production ng cellular components ng blood ninyo. Tama? Hematopoiesis. Hematopoiesis can be categorized into myeloid, diba? Myeloid limb and lymphoid limb. Okay, giving rise now by the lymphoid limb or pathway lymphocytes. Pag myeloid pathway naman, yung mga WBCs natin aside from lymphocytes. Okay? Yung na-meet natin kanina. Your neutrophils, okay? Your eosinophils, basophils, okay? Monocytes. Okay? So yun yung myeloid lineage. Ang pinag-uusapan niya natin ngayon ay yung lymphoid lineage, lymphocytes. Going back, okay, during embryonic and fetal development, the role of the yolk sac and the liver in hematopoiesis is very important. Okay? The role of bone marrow in hematopoiesis only happens, okay, after you were born. Okay? So kumbaga, kung naisilang ka na, yung bone marrow na, yung site of hematopoiesis. Pero habang nasa embryonic period ka, yung yolk sac. Okay? Kung habang nasa fetal period ka pa lang or second trimester to third trimester ng pagdadalang tao ng magulang mo, liver, okay? Yung liver ang site ng hematopoiesis. Okay. Now, your bone marrow, your liver, and yung yolk sac, okay? At the different stage of your life and development, produces both your B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. Okay? But the place or the organ where your T or yung tata, okay, T, okay? T lymphocytes mature is the thymus. And the organ where your B cells mature is still in the bone marrow naman. So yung B cell hindi siya lumalayas. Okay? Kung saan siya pinanganak, doon rin siya magmamature. Ang T cell naman, parang ano yan eh, pinanganak siya sa bone marrow, let's say for example, pero nagmature siya sa thymus. Kaya siya tinawag na T cell kasi sa thymus siya nag-mature. Kaya tinawag na B cell kasi sa bone marrow siya nag-mature. Okay? So layas. Sinong layas sa inyo? Okay? T-cell ba kayo? O B-cell kayo? Jan Louie, T-cell ka ba or B-cell?
Naging T-cell na po, sir. Kasi
Naging-
kailangan pong tumira sa tugi para mag-study.
Okay. Sige. T-cell si Jan Louie. Well, some of you may be of a B-cell type, di ba? Kasi umuwi pa rin sa bahay nila. Okay? B-cell. Okay. Now, where is your thymus? Okay. Bone marrow is located, your bone marrow, in one hand, is located on the flat bones. Okay? For example, dyan sa balakang mo, okay? Doon sa bones ng iyong skull, okay? Usually flat bones, okay? Flat bones ang site ng bone marrow. Okay? On one hand, your thymus is located, okay, using the appropriate medical terminology, okay? Your thymus is located in the anterosuperior mediastinum, okay? Or on a common jargon, located ang thymus mo in front of your heart. Okay? In front of your heart. By the way, in front of your heart meaning hindi siya dikit sa heart. There is a separate compartment housing your thymus. Okay? As you age, guys, okay? When you were born, the size of your thymus is around the size of your testicles. Okay? Or around mga 40 grams, 20 to 40 grams. As you grow old, or as you age, your thymus decreases in size. But your thymus remains to be functional up until the age of 50 to 60 years. Okay? Nagfa-function pa rin siya. Okay? Okay. So that is those are the primary organs of the lymphoid system. Okay? So primary lymphoid organs na tinatawag natin, thymus and bone marrow. Now, katulad ng sinabi ni Jan Louie kanina, lymph nodes. Diba? Sinabi ni Jan Louie kanina, lymph nodes. In fact, your lymph nodes or your kulani, which can be found, and they are numerous, along the connection of your extremities, okay? In the they are found usually on the areas, okay? Joining areas of your extremity and your body. Ibig sabihin, nasa leeg nyo, nasa kilikili, usually meron sa singit. Okay? Karaniwan doon. Okay? But lymph nodes, as a matter of fact, can also be found, okay, inside your body. Okay? Halos lahat ng organs merong lymph nodes. We also have special structures of lymphatic tissues or lymphoid tissues in your gastrointestinal tract. Yun yung tinatawag nating Peyer's patches. Okay, in the terminal part of your ileum. Okay, small intestine. Makikita nyo sa illustration. Peyer's patches. Now, we understood that the function of the primary lymphoid organs, which is thymus and bone marrow, is to serve as production and maturation site. Tama? The purpose of the secondary lymphoid organs or your lymph nodes, okay, lymph nodes, and your spleen, okay, yan yung dalawa, spleen and lymph nodes, they will now serve as the house or home for the mature B cells and T cells. Okay? So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Yung mga mature T cells and B cells natin on a certain histologic or microanatomic structures within your spleen and lymph nodes, okay, reside waiting for their chance to encounter a pathogen. Naghihintay lang sila, guys, yung T cells, B cells nyo. Naghihintay sila, okay? And at some point in time, they migrate or recirculate, yung sinasabi natin. Okay? So that there is the term we mentioned a while ago, immunosurveillance. Tama? Sila kasi yung nagsusurveillance. Okay? Sila yung watchdog. Okay? Bukod doon sa mga nabanggit natin kanina na neutrophils and other cellular innate immune system. Okay? T cells and B cells stay or reside in the secondary lymphoid organ, awaiting for potential pathogens or foreign antigen to be encountered. Okay? So, let us go back to the concept, okay, or function of the immune system. Diba sinabi natin kanina, the immune system function to recognize, tama? To respond accordingly against foreign antigen or invading microorganisms, tama? That is also true sa adaptive immune system natin with our T cells and B cells. Remember, the interaction, okay, most of the time, if not always, okay, is receptor mediated. So for the T cells, meron tayong assigned receptor, yung tinatawag nating T cell receptor. For the B cell, meron din tayong receptor. Okay, yung B cell receptor. For the B cell, the composition of the receptor is an immunoglobulin. Karaniwan, yung immunoglobulin M at saka immunoglobulin B. Right? Hello, Von Saring. Mr. Von, your audio is interrupting the discussion. Okay. Now, upon recognition, let's say for example, balik tayo ngayon dun sa Trichomonas vaginalis muna. Okay? Hello, andyan ba kayo?
Yes po, Doc.
8:40. Hanggang anong oras ba tayo?
9 p.m. po, Doc.
Okay. Can we extend for a bit? Para matapos lang. Baka 9:30 siguro. Kasi late tayo nag-start. Now, in the context of the infection na, Trichomonas vaginalis. Di ba katulad kanina ng sinabi, maalala nyo, di ba? Yung Trichomonas vaginalis, through sexual intercourse, has gained access and breached the external immune system, yung barrier natin, yung mucous membrane natin. Okay? Now, upon infection, the innate cellular immune system natin, our neutrophils, our phagocytes in general, okay, attempts to phagocytose these microorganisms, yung Trichomonas vaginalis natin. Okay? But in a way, Trichomonas vaginalis has several virulence factors na sinasabi natin that affords them, okay, to survive against the phagocytes. The body now needs the adaptive immune system, okay, to combat or eradicate such infection. So what happens? The phagocytes that has eaten or that has processed or digested the Trichomonas vaginalis, okay, will present the antigen to the T cell and B cell. Okay? Now, at this point in time, the T cells and B cells have encountered their appropriate antigen. So, ma-activate sila ngayon. They will become activated, stimulated. Okay? In the sense that the T cell will differentiate further into a more sophisticated or specific type of T cell. Okay? So, meron tayong tinatawag, guys, na helper T cell and cytotoxic T cell. Okay? Shown on the next slide. Ayan. Okay? Remember, your T cells, yan. Your T cells can be identified as CD4 positive helper or inducer T cells, okay, or CD8 positive cytotoxic suppressor T cells. Okay, ang next question dyan, Jane, you might be wondering, lahat po ba ng mga T helper cell subpopulations, Th1, Th2, T regulatory cells, T17 cells, are produced simultaneously at the same magnitude or concentration? The answer is that depends on the pathogen being recognized. Okay? Kaya tinatawag na adaptive or specific innate immune system. Okay? Kasi depende it depends on the characteristic or invading pathogen. Okay? If it is a protozoal pathogen or an intracellular pathogen for that matter, there's a certain T helper cell subpopulation that will be produced at a more or at a greater magnitude. Okay? If Ascaris lumbricoides naman, okay, as an extracellular parasite is the one being involved in the infection, another T helper cell subpopulation will be stimulated or produced at a greater magnitude. As you can see in the table, or in the slides rather, the subpopulations I'm referring to are the Th1 cells and Th2 cells. Okay? T regulatory cells are usually present regardless of the invading pathogen because they are there to regulate the inflammatory response. Okay? So at this juncture, we should be able to understand that the immune response, particularly the adaptive immune response, okay, that's why it's called adaptive, is tailored or is developed depending on the inciting pathogen involved. Okay? Babalik tayo kanina, di ba? We have this common notion na pag parasitic infection ay eosinophils yung naiisip natin agad, tama? Eosinophils. Naiisip natin agad IgE, okay? Immunoglobulins. But in reality, depende yon kung yung parasite mo ba ay intracellular or extracellular. Okay? And to add in the confusion or complexity of the immune response against parasite infection, depending on the duration of the infection. In cases of parasitic infection kasi, usually chronic yan eh. Okay? Chronic. Compared sa bacterial infection or viral infection. Because there are intrinsic or inherent characteristics of parasitic pathogens, okay, that makes them or that stimulates a chronic infection. Meaning to say, mas mahirap i-eradicate ang parasitic infection kumpara sa bacterial or viral infection. For one, parasites are, except for protozoal infections, multicellular. Tama? They are multicellular. They are big in size or bigger in size compared to bacteria or viruses. They have a complex life cycle. Okay? One pathogen or one example, yung Ascaris lumbricoides, di ba? Meron siyang life cycle or stage. It has a stage, okay? Or stage in life wherein it spends its being outside the human host. Okay. When organisms encounters a host, the eventual outcome depends on variety of factors. Okay? Katulad ng sinasabi ko kanina. This include the number or bilang ng organismo or number of organisms or size of the inoculum. The multiplication rate of the organism and the virulence factors possessed by the organism. Okay? Depending on this is the immune response of our body. Okay. Let us proceed to the next slide. Yan. That is just a diagram showing you the different, okay, three of the several subpopulations of T cells, helper T cells, okay, Th1, Th2, and T regulatory T cell. Focusing on Th1 and Th2 cell, okay, these cells secrete certain cytokines. Okay, di ba? Sinabi natin kanina, cytokines are the communication network of the immune cells. Okay? That's how they communicate with one another. Th1 cell produces a cytokine, okay, in the person of interferon gamma. Okay? On one hand, Th2 cell produces interleukin 4. Okay? Now, we understood a while ago that Th1 cell is usually the T helper cell, okay, produced and differentiated when we're dealing with extracellular microorganisms, di ba? And the Th2 cell is the subpopulation of T helper cell that is stimulated and produced when we talk about certain parasitic infections, especially those that are big. Okay, mga helminths natin. Okay? Ascaris lumbricoides. Okay? So makikita nyo sa diagram, Th2 cell enhance the activity of antibody formation, allergic response, antiparasitic response, and antigen presentation. Kung makikita nyo sa Th1 cell, enhance activity of cytotoxic T cells, natural killer cells, and antigen presentation. So, do not be confused ha, although, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, yung antiparasitic response karaniwan, okay, ay that of the humoral immune, okay, system. Ibig sabihin, nasa Th2 cell siya, some of the parasitic infection, especially protozoal infections, like yung Trichomonas vaginalis natin, or yung malaria natin na sikat, is usually eradicated, or at least being, okay, being attempted to be eradicated or eliminated using the Th1 cell system or yung cell-mediated immunity natin. Okay? So for Th1, meron tayong tinatawag na cell-mediated immunity. Yung Th2, meron tayong tinatawag na humoral-mediated immunity. Okay? So pag sinabing cell-mediated immunity, the predominant effectors of immunity are the cellular components of the immune system. Pag sinabing humoral-mediated immunity, the predominant, take note, predominant, okay, limb of our immune system that tries to eradicate or fight the relatively bigger sized helminthiasis or helminthic infection, okay, are the soluble or humoral factors of the immune system. But in reality, guys, both cellular and humoral immunity of the immune system, okay, and to include the non-specific or innate and the adaptive immune system, operates all together. They operate all together rather in the body's attempt to eradicate, control the infection. Okay? Let us proceed to the next slide. Actually, na-mention ko na kanina ito, no? The immunoglobulins. Okay? The immunoglobulins are the humoral component of the adaptive immune system. Tama? So, by nature, antibodies or immunoglobulins, okay, are glycoproteins, meaning there are carbohydrates and protein components, okay, that make up the immunoglobulin. As said a while ago, immunoglobulins or antibodies are the effector molecules of the B cell mediated immunity or the humoral mediated immunity. Okay? Now, on the next slide, you can see the structure of an immunoglobulin. Okay, Y-shape siya. Okay, please turn to the next slide. Y-shape. Yan, ang ganda, di ba? In fact, the chemical structure of the immunoglobulin, okay, were the efforts of numerous individuals. Okay? Meron dyan si Porter, si Edelman, okay, and the rest. Okay? So yan structure ng immunoglobulin nyo. Y-shape. Okay? Y-shape. The inner chain is called the heavy chain kasi mas mahaba, mas mabigat. It's called heavy chain. The outer chain is called the light chain. Mas maiksi siya, right? That's why mas magaan siya. Okay? By the use of ultracentrifugation, okay, they were able to identify heavy chain and light chain as a primary composition of immunoglobulins. Okay. Now, this heavy chain and light chain, okay, consist or comprise or make up the antigen binding site. Okay? Yung tinatawag nating antigen antibody fragment or yung Fab fragment. Okay? And on one hand, meron din tayong tinatawag na FC fragment, okay, or crystallizable fragment that is only composed of the heavy chain, yung buntot niya, okay, yung nasa baba, okay. Further, we can identify several domains as also depicted on the table, okay. These domains have certain biological properties. Okay? So that an immunoglobulin with its Fab fragment and FC fragment and considering the different domains can, number one, bind antigen with its antigen binding site dun sa taas. And also, effect or induce biological functions facilitated by the binding of respective domains found on the FC fragment, leading to the different functions stated in the table. Okay? Going back kanina, di ba? The complement under the innate immune system, tama, is said to complement the function of antibodies. How? By way of binding to the CH2, okay, complement binding site of the immunoglobulin. So nagdidikit po, ladies and gentlemen, yung immunoglobulin mo, which is part of the adaptive immune system, at yung complement ninyo, which is part of the innate immune system. Okay? They both have the goal or purpose of enhancing the immune response against parasitic infection, for that matter. Okay? So remember, letter Y, immunoglobulin structure. Okay? So on the next slide, shown is the, yan naman. Letter A shows us a illustration, okay? A 2D illustration of the IgM, okay? Immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulins have different classes, okay? Meron tayong IgM, okay, which is being shown to you right now of its structure, okay? Yung letter B, hindi yan rabbit, guys, ha? Hindi yan rabbit. Ano ba yan? That is the 3D conformational form, okay, of the immunoglobulin M. Kung makikita nyo, ang IgM is a molecule composed of 5 immunoglobulin M. Pentameric siya, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? In contrast to the IgG, which is usually monomeric. Okay? Or isa lang. Ang IgM pentameric, 5 Y structure. Being joined by the J chain. Okay? So, mas malaki. Okay? So, kung mas malaking immune globulin, ibig sabihin may advantages. Okay? Kung mas maliit, meron ding advantages. One advantage is that of being maliit in the person of IgG, it is able to cross the placenta from your mother to you during gestation. That's why you have maternal antibody protection. Immunoglobulin G can be transferred transplacentally kasi maliit siya. IgM, although because it's big, it cannot traverse the placenta. So, hindi siya kasama dun sa mga maternal antibodies na pinapamana sa inyo ng nanay nyo. Okay? But then again, being big also has advantage. Okay? Mas mabilis ang IgM in terms of agglutinating or reacting to certain pathogens in context of complement fixation, okay, neutralizing infectious agents. Okay? So more on that when you get into third year. Okay? Now, this is my next slide. Okay? In the next slide, let us attempt to understand the dynamics of immunoglobulin production in context of infection. Okay? Particularly during primary infection and secondary infection. Okay? So, paano yung primary at saka secondary infection? In a simplistic manner, we can explain that by making an example of not a parasitic infection, okay? Kasi mas complex ang immune response sa parasitic infection. Let's take, for example, common colds or common colds caused by several or hundreds of different strains of rhinoviruses. Tama? We said or we consider a primary infection if in your lifetime it is your first time to be exposed and got infected with certain rhinovirus A. Okay? See, for example, rhinovirus A. Okay, that's the what will happen is the primary response of the immune system. Okay? You can see there that during the primary response, before the onset, okay, or the presence of detectable IgM tsaka IgG, there's what we call the lag phase. Lag phase. Okay? Lag phase represents the period where there is no detectable IgM or IgG. Tama? Kasi anong nangyayari during lag phase, guys? What do you think is happening during lag phase? Anybody? Lag phase muna. Jane, anong sa tingin mong nangyayari during lag phase? What part of the immune system is being stimulated or being operational during the lag phase? Is it the innate immune system or the adaptive immune system? Hello? Hello, naririnig niyo po ba ako? Hello, I need some response. Hello? Answer pa ba kayo?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay. So, based dun sa learnings natin, ano sa tingin nyo dyan ang nangyayari during the lag phase? What limb of the immune system is being operational during the lag phase? Wala munang antibody production, di ba? Nakikita nyo? In terms of IgM and IgG. Sirit na ba? Yan, sabi ni Pearly Abaya, Sir, innate, okay? Sabi niya, Sir, innate siya kasi hindi pa recognize yung pathogen. Okay? Exactly. Tama yung answer niya. Di ba katulad ng sinabi natin kanina, it is the innate immune system that is first being stimulated or triggered, okay? Before the adaptive immune system. Kaya, during the lag phase, wala munang immunoglobulin na nadedetect. Kasi ang immunoglobulin M and G will only appear when the adaptive immune system has already been operational. Okay? So lag phase muna, okay? And when the innate immune system is no longer capable of controlling the infection, the adaptive immune system takes charge. Okay? Now, during the primary response, as seen in the graph, okay, IgM is the one, okay, to appear first, tama? Immunoglobulin M, IgM. Okay. Now, take note guys, during primary response, there is also the production of immunoglobulin G. Di ba halos magka-level lang sila? Magka-level lang yung amount ng IgM at IgG. Now, depending guys on the duration of the infection, okay? Ang isang individual, okay, depending on its hosts, okay, immune system capacity also may produce IgM that is adequate enough to eradicate the pathogen. Okay? But during chronic infection, in the primary response or in the instance sa unang infection mo, pwede ka ring mag-create ng IgG, the latter part. Nagkakaroon ng class switching. Okay? From IgM, okay, depending on the nature of the infecting pathogen, mag-create ka din ng IgG. Okay? So that sa laboratory, okay, sa laboratory, anong clinical significance niyan? Karaniwan kasi, pag sinabi natin, pag nakakita tayo, ganito yung misconception, karaniwan, okay? Pag nakakita tayo ng positive test, okay? kung IgG, ibig sabihin, it would indicate, okay, past exposure. Okay? It would indicate that the infection is already the second time around. No, it's not. Okay? It's not. The presence of IgG should be interpreted along with the findings, okay? Or in the context of the presence of IgM also. So that when meron kang IgM at the same time IgG, probably ang interpretation mo dyan ay it is a primary infection that has become chronic. Okay? Long-standing infection. Okay, let's say for example, gumaling ka na. Okay? Eventually, you recovered. Okay? You recovered from the primary infection. And later on, you were exposed to the same pathogen. That is what you call secondary exposure or infection. Tama? Now, the lag phase, as you can notice, is shortened. Okay? Because the innate immune system will no longer be needed on a longer period of time because your adaptive immune system has already the memory, okay, to recognize the pathogen which you previously encountered already. So that the immunoglobulin that will be produced is the immunoglobulin G. Okay? Kasi may memory na ang ating katawan or yung ating adaptive immune system. Okay? So, what is the importance? You may have been exposed or got infected with the pathogen, but you would not necessarily develop the clinical manifestation of the disease, okay, as you have experienced during the primary infection. Okay? Okay, let's proceed to the next slide. Last 2 slides na lang to. Okay? As I said a while ago, the immune response to parasitic infection can be anticipated, okay, or predicted in a sense when we know the characteristic or nature of the parasite or invading parasite. Okay? Karaniwan, pag protozoal in the likes of Trichomonas vaginalis or yung malaria, okay? Okay? Karaniwan, ang immune response natin that is needed there is yung cell-mediated immunity natin. Okay? Kasi nga, malaria, as we all know, they are intracellular parasites, tama? So we have to mobilize, or the immune system has to be stimulated in a manner where the immune system is able to access, okay, the malarial parasites residing inside the RBC. And the means there is to or via the cell-mediated immunity. Okay? Your T cells, your NK cells, and your phagocytes. Okay? Whereas kung sa helminth naman, exemplified by filaria or filariasis, this is somewhat special because filariasis directly invades, or what it affects are the lymphoid organs of the body. And considering their sizes, which are relatively bigger than protozoal infections, they are considered extracellular parasites, di ba? Now, the immune system will be tailored in a way that the humoral mediated immunity is the predominant limb of the immune system, okay? That is attempting or that is being utilized to fight off this type of bacteria. Okay? So, ano ang takeaway? Pag helminthiasis or relatively bigger microorganisms, you will learn that IgE immunoglobulin plays a central or important role during helminthiasis infection. Okay? Yung IgE natin. Well, IgE, immunoglobulin E, will engender a cascade of events that will attract eosinophils on the vicinity of parasitic infection. Okay? The eosinophils, on one hand, consist of or contains certain granules. Tama? Meron tayong sinatawag na granules ng eosinophils consisting of yung major basic proteins and histaminases that are toxic to helminths. So by way of this, or by means of this, namamatay or napapatay ngayon yung malaking helminths. Okay? I am being advised to it's already 9:19. Okay? So I have few more slides left. Ayan, ano na lang to, pahapyaw na lang to, no? Can you turn turn to the next slide? Ayan, protozoal infection. Okay. Malaria has several virulence factors. Okay. Meron tayong tinatawag na antigenic concealment, antigenic variation, tsaka immunologic diversion. These are the different virulence. There are certain virulence factors of malarial parasites or yung plasmodium natin. Okay. That confers this immune evading mechanisms of the plasmodium parasites. Okay? Namely, yung antigenic concealment, antigenic variation, at immunologic diversion. Because of these immune evading mechanisms, as of now, there is the condition, the malaria is being really managed using anti-malarial or anti-plasmodial drugs. Okay? You don't spontaneously recover from malaria. Okay? Because of these virulence factors and these immune evading mechanisms, your body, your innate and adaptive immune system cannot totally eradicate plasmodium parasites. Okay? Living in your livers and RBCs. You need anti-plasmodial drugs. Okay? And by the way, the life cycles are for you to study. Okay? Next is the next slide, please. Okay, sige, pakitaas na lang. Okay, helminths, yung tinatawag din natin kaninang filaria. Okay? Filariasis is caused by certain filarial species. We have the Wuchereria and Brugia. Okay, Brugia malai is what is considered dominant in the Southeast Asian country. Okay, meron rin Wuchereria. Okay, now filaria are like malaria transmitted by mosquito bite. Okay? Kanya lang, ang filariasis has more number of possible vectors. Okay? Mosquito vectors. To include yung ating Culex, Anopheles, tsaka Aedes. For dengue, for malaria kasi, we have Anopheles, di ba? Now, in the next slide, you can see a picture of the filarial life cycle and also clinical manifestation, okay? That's a scrotum, okay? Swollen scrotum. We call that hydrocele, okay? That is special or particularly associated or related sa Wuchereria bancrofti, okay? Yung hydrocele. That is not yet demonstrated. That's not the hydrocele or scrotal swelling is not yet demonstrated with Brugia malayi infection. Okay, only to Wuchereria bancrofti. Okay, so both Wuchereria and Brugia, okay, both can manifest as seen in the next slide. Meron pa bang next slide? Supposedly meron. As elephantiasis. Okay, yan. The disease that is a chronic, okay, filarial manifestation, okay, filariasis manifestation, Brugia and both Brugia and Wuchereria, yung elephantiasis. So guys, di ba? This filarial parasites directly invades your lymphatic system. And remember, your lymphatic system is an integral part of your immune system. Tama? Your lymph nodes is being drained or being perfused also by your lymphatics. And if your adult worms obstruct your lymphatic vessels, you will suffer from edema. And considering the presence of your B cells, your T cells in your lymphatic vessels and lymph nodes, the inflammatory reaction is expected to be profound. Okay? Kaya nagkakaganyan yung paa. Okay? Well, that developed not overnight. Okay? That is chronic. Several months and years. Okay? Okay, I think that is the last slide of the presentation. So if you would have to remember, okay, takeaways from this lecture, the important things to remember is that the immune system, the human immune system, with all of the components that we have discussed, okay, is tailored to respond to virtually all of the potential pathogens that we may encounter. Okay? And the difference on the type of immunity that one can develop in part depends on the type of the pathogen. Okay? If it is protozoal in nature or intracellular in nature, it is the cell-mediated immunity rather, okay, that takes predominance, okay? But if the parasitic infection is extracellular or in a sense, a big multicellular parasite, like for example, helminths, it is the humoral mediated immunity that take dominance. Okay? But at the end of the day, both humoral and cellular innate immunity Okay, both the innate and adaptive immunity altogether function to fight parasitic infection. Okay? So hopefully you learned something today. Thank you for your attention. Okay? And I just hope the best, okay, to you all. Okay? Sana meron kayong natutunan sa ating brief lecture. Okay? If you have any questions, perhaps pwede nating i-entertain. Siguro 1 or 2 questions. Ayan. You can now unshare the slide. Pwede ba tayong mag-on cam para naman makita natin daw, sabi ni Sir Jack, yung mga ating pagmumukha.
Yeah, thank you, Doc, for your lecture. Napaka-challenging on your part, no, kasi supposedly this topic, no, this area is supposed to be delivered within 1 semester, pero for this class it's only given in a matter of hours. Pagod ka, Doc? Wala akong pamerienda eh.
Hindi naman.
So with your lecture, Doc, I suppose, no, our students have had learned a lot from you, no, maybe the basic concepts of immunology, principles of immunity, no. We have to take note there are 2 types of immunity that Dr. Jordan had presented us, no. You have the innate, or what we call as the natural type of immunity. This is the non-specific type of immunity. The second one is obviously the acquired or the adaptive immunity, which is the specific type of immunity. So I know that he also discussed, no, the difference between cellular and humoral type of immunity. So madami, no, madali lang naman siyang intindihin actually yan, di ba? You just have to simplify it. Cellular immunity, obviously this involves the different immune cells of the body. Humoral type of immunity, this involves the analytes, no, which are present in the plasma that may be of help in resisting foreign organisms, no. Say for example, you have your complement, cytokines, what else? Ano pa bang iba? Complement, cytokines, antibodies. Okay. So there are 5 different kinds of antibodies Dr. Jordan had mentioned. So IgM, napakadali, no, ang function ng IgM, kaya tinawag siyang IgM kasi of all the 5 types of immunoglobulin, siya ang pinakamalaki. It's a pentamer. A human person also, that's the first antibody also, that's the first antibody also that a human person will develop. Diba? Mauuna, M kasi mauunang ma-develop, mauunang magpapakita, no? So it's involved with primary immune response. Okay, it doesn't cross the placenta kasi obviously naka-discover kasi diyan taga Enrile, no? Kaya tinawag ng IgM yan, no? Kasi Marie-Macross yan, no? Marie-Macross sa placenta. IgG is a monomer. Okay, wala na si Doc Jordan. IgG is a monomer. Okay, tumataas ang concentration sa plasma, no, during anamnestic or secondary response. Sabi ni Doc Jordan kanina, it provides immunity to the fetus, no? Okay, kasi siya ang nagko-cross sa placenta. Again, taga-Enrile na naman ang naka-discover kasi. Kaya tinawag niyang IgG yan kasi gava mag-cross yan. Okay. So, yun, no? In terms of anti-helmintic response, ano na yung mga immunoglobulin involved, IgE. So, kayang-kaya na yan. Okay? So, may tanong po ba kayo kay Doc Jordan? Itong master of immunology. Wala na, kailangan na lang nila ng blood test.
Doctor in immunology, si Sir Jack.
Ikaw ang god of immunology. Anyway, so may tanong ba tayo si Madam Mayor ng 2C, yan si Jane. Hindi ko alam ang mayor, hindi ko kilala ang mayor ng 2D eh. Sino ba yung mayor ng 2D? Si Percy ba?
Si Percy Jackson.
Hindi po ako yung mayor po.
Ah?
Hindi po ako yung mayor ng 2D po.
Sino ang mayor ng 2D? Ito Doc Jordan, ito yung sinasabi ko sa iyo, pang Mr. CSU ito eh. If you can see him in person.
Pasaliin natin.
Oo nga eh. Dapat ka sumali ito nung wala na
Sino
tayong event.
namang Miss CSU? Wala. Meron ba pang Miss CSU dito?
Ang madami yan, puro magaganda ang mga yan. Okay? Puro magaganda. Kulang lang nga sa height. Ewan ko, maliliit kasi itong mga medtech students natin. So, okay na tayo siguro.
Okay. Hopefully meron silang
So Doc Jordan will be your teacher, your instructor later on pag makarating kayo ng immuno, pag hindi niya pa tayo iiwan sa CSU kasi siya ay magre-residency na.
most likely hindi na. Hindi na tayo mag-meet. So this may be the first and last. So anyway, had the pleasure to
Doc
meet
Jordan, by the way,